Well, ladies and gents, it has just happened. I can't even believe I'm saying this. One click of a mouse has basically shut down the entire world. We talked about this for a long time now here on the channel, and it's basically now happened. So if you're not aware, there has been a massive cyber outage ever since last night. A lot of the media outlets have been picking up on it today, talking about it, but it's actually began last night. It happened even before I went to bed. And you know what? It's still going on today. It's still happening as I stream right now. It's unbelievable. This has affected everything from businesses. Actually, it says millions of large companies around the world, tens of millions of businesses, media, supermarkets, banking, airlines, emergency services, and more. This is just unbelievable. But you know what is funny about the whole thing? Why is it that it always takes place on a Friday? You remember this from the Great Depression diaries. It's always on a Friday, isn't it, that all these things take place. And well, anyway, let me just tell you what it is from. This was an update from cybersecurity company CrowdStrike that they say has caused the whole thing. Their stock price has absolutely crashed. But who was affected? Financial services, banks, yes, banks, healthcare, telecommunications, government services, retail, e-commerce, transport, logistics, airports, train stations, manufacturing, education, schools, universities, energy, utilities, media, entertainment. Even just in the US, 1,500 flights have been delayed today, 385 cancelled. I mean, this is just, never heard anything like this. But the worst one, I think, is the 911 call centers. They just couldn't operate. 911 call centers, they're saying they haven't even measured the catastrophe of this alone, of people in emergencies, medical emergencies that couldn't call in. I've got a list here, it goes on forever, of all the airports that are just not closed, but they can't do anything. It goes on forever. Train stations. This is just, I can't even believe this has taken place. It is just unbelievable. And this is why you need this stuff, cash. I always talk about having some cash at home. And now you know why. Because even at the supermarkets, people were going to the supermarkets. In fact, talking of one click, let me make sure I've got this on screen. One click there. People just, they even at the grocery stores, supermarkets, going to buy their food, coffee shops, bakeries, nothing is working because the payment systems are down. So it was cash only. But then even some of the places, they couldn't even take the cash because the tills were electronic. I mean, don't ask me how that even works. They couldn't even take cash. And the other thing that was funny, and I've mentioned this before, they said that because a lot of people are not as good at maths, younger people, they're saying, as it used to be because of dealing with cash, they were saying there's all these issues at the tills where people couldn't do the calculations with the cash. Oh my goodness, it just absolutely bizarre. Let me grab a couple of the stories here so you can see some of the things that took place. So we had loads of these images all over the place, just images of screens, blue screen of death everywhere, just airports, grocery stores, train stations. No one could do anything. Look at all of this. These were all the companies that were down. Look at this. Microsoft, Schwab, GoTo, Visa was down, Starbucks, I don't drink there, MGM, CrowdStrike, Bank of America, Xbox, Chase Bank, Allegiant Air, Arvest, ADP, Google, Amazon, Square, which is a payment processor, Ticketmaster, Delta, Zoom, Frontier, Wells Fargo, DoorDash, Southwest. It was millions of companies all around the world. It was just chaos, absolute chaos everywhere around the world today. Look at the queues. These are the queues at the airports because people just couldn't do anything. No one could get any work done. So a lot of people went home. They just couldn't do their work. Here's more of the companies. It goes on and on and on. All of these companies that just couldn't operate. Even the NHS, which is funny because we talked about the NHS yesterday in doctors' offices who are now issuing climate advice. Doctors giving climate advice and checking patients for climate change related illnesses. Sorry, excuse me. Got something in my throat with that one. So we've had all of this going on. NHS couldn't do appointments because they couldn't open patients' files. It is just unbelievable. You know what wasn't down? Yes, my program. So everybody can still get into the program. Yes, my program wasn't down. It's up. And we launched the Entrepreneur Flow system tomorrow. So here we go. Let's look at some of the CNBC stuff here then. CrowdStrike shares were down more than 14% after this event. American Airlines, which describes itself as the world's largest, said the technology issue was affecting multiple carriers, including American, while Dutch arm as well, KLM, had to suspend most of their operations. In Great Britain, the Royal Surrey Hospital declared a critical incident and had to temporarily suspend radiography treatment. The NHS in England, however, said it was experiencing disruptions in all the doctors' practices. Yeah, they couldn't open the files. If you were affected, please drop a comment below. Banks and financial companies around the world also couldn't do anything. Insurance companies couldn't do anything. No one could do anything at all today. And it still isn't fixed. This is still going on. Sky News, did you know that they were off air? Sky News couldn't do anything. Doctors are warning this is unsafe. Hospitals are warning this is unsafe. Let me ask you a question here. Who on earth thought it was a good idea to have this one company doing these updates for pretty much the entire world? Them and Microsoft. Who thought that was a good idea? Can someone please tell me, who thought that was a good idea to have one company in charge of all the cybersecurity and doing these updates, as well as Microsoft with all the systems? I mean, this was a recipe for disaster. It was obvious it was going to happen at some point. And who even knows what's going on nefarious behind the scenes? It started last night. It started in Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia. And then it spread across Europe all the way through to UK and into the US and Canada today. What is going on behind the scenes? No one knows, because all these systems are down. The banking systems are down. Payments are down. Visa's down. Some of the other payment processors. No one really knows what is going on behind the scenes. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm not suggesting some sort of big coup or anything, conspiracy here, but we just don't know. This always happens on a Friday. And then usually on a Monday, it's like a bank holiday, or there's something that changes on a Monday. This is just a little bit convenient that it happened 7 days in a week and it happens on the Friday again. Middle class cash meltdown as Waitrose is hit as well. So we've had all these signs all across the world in shops saying, sorry, we just cannot do anything. We can't accept any payments. Even Parliament, yes, the UK government was down. They couldn't even, why they couldn't meet, I'm not exactly sure. Why does a tech outage stop the politicians from meeting? Funny this, dramatic decline in cash use as cards go up. So, of course, people were all on the cash, trying to get cash, but they couldn't because the ATMs were empty. What would happen if we were hit by a complete tech wipeout? Yeah, good question. What would happen? Indeed, we've seen this in movies, haven't we? That's interesting. It's never happened before, ever. And then it happens after this movie and some of the other movies. I just think this whole thing is very convenient. Largest outage in history. Look at these scenes. And this is still going on today. If you're affected, please leave a comment below. More than 4,200 flights are being cancelled worldwide, and it still isn't over. CNN is even on this. Why they need 4, 5, 6, why they need 8 people to write one story at CNN? I am not sure. It seems to get more and more people every time who's writing the story. 8 people now. This is everywhere. But do you know what? I want to share something very interesting with you. because on July 18th, so this was Thursday, even before the outage began, the Bank of England payment systems went down due to an outage. Now look, 7:10 UTC. This is before the massive cyber outage happened. This is 1 hour before it began, okay? Now, the Bank of England said on Thursday it suffered a temporary outage to its CHAPS interbank payment system, which handles more than £360 billion on an average day, but expected all transactions to be settled by the end of the day. Let me ask you, do you think that's a little bit unusual that the Bank of England CHAPS system went down an hour before this worldwide outage started? I'm just throwing it out there. I think that's a little bit strange, if you ask me. I think it's a little bit strange. But there we go. That is you very quickly up to date today on this. Tomorrow we're going to launch part 2 of the program. That's the Cashflow Mastery course. I hope you are already enrolled. If you're not, the offer is still on until I finish the recording. And let me just say, I'm getting close. I'm recording very quickly every day up until the live stream time. So thanks for being online. Take care. God bless. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. All right.